Hi everyone, my name is Branden Haws, and I recently completed my 498 internship course for BYU Idaho. I had the pleasure of being able to do my internship through Allegiant Hospice here in Mesa, Arizona. I was enrolled in my internship between January and March 2017, and now I would like to take this opportunity to be able to share with you my experience, the lessons I learned, and share my thoughts with you about Allegiant Hospice. So, first of all, I'll need a little bit of background information. Allegiant Hospice is a hospice service located here in the valley in Arizona, and it was founded back in 2012. The founder's name is Lisa Hunt, and she is a local hospice nurse. Very well recognized here in the valley for her sacrifices and for her efforts to improve the hospice environment. And she and a group of her associates decided that they wanted to start up their own company. Now, some cool information about the Allegiant Hospice name is that Allegiant is a synonym for honesty, integrity, loyalty, qualities that Ms. Hunt values very much, not only in herself but in her employees. And she wanted to build a company founded on those principles because honesty, integrity, loyalty, allegiance, those are things that matter a lot to patients who are going through the hospice system. And because they need to know that people are going to be there to take care of them. So right from the very beginning, Allegiant Hospice wanted to make that very clear and send that message to their patients. Now, I went online to their website, allegianthospice.org, and I found their mission statement, and I'd like to share that with you. Allegiant Hospice compassionately cares for individuals and their loved ones coping with end of life while preserving dignity and quality of life. Now, what really caught me when I first started working with Allegiant is the fact that their mission statement uses the word compassionately. Compassion in its Greek translation means to suffer with another. And so that means that they take pride and put a lot of emphasis on understanding the perspective of the patient and their loved ones. And that is so critical because it's going to make sure that they are trusted, that their patients can know that they can rely on them. And not only did I take a lot of pride in the message that Allegiant puts out to the public, but I also really value the fact that that they have a lot of awards that they have earned as well. Allegiant Hospice has earned many recognitions for their services since their creation back in 2012 to the current date. For example, they have been accepted as a Medicare provider, and they have also earned a very high recognition known as the Joint Commission Gold Seal of Approval. Allegiant Hospice has earned a very honorable recognition from an organization known as the Joint Commission. The award that they have earned is the Joint Commission Gold Seal of Approval, which is like the Olympic gold medal of the healthcare industry. I'm going to share some information with you that I got directly from the Joint Commission's brochure about the Gold Seal. Now, if a company is awarded the Golden Seal, it means that they've gone the extra mile to review and improve key areas of quality and safety for patient care. And like I said, it's considered the highest award that a healthcare provider can earn in the healthcare industry. The areas that the Joint Commission evaluates are making sure that it's a safe environment for patient care, that the patients are educated about the risks and their diagnosis and treatment options, that they're aware of the protection of their rights and privacy as a patient, that their condition is properly evaluated during and after diagnosis and treatment, and that they're aware of infection protection, and also that the organization goes the extra mile to plan for emergency situations. One more bit of advice that I would like to share with those of you who are starting to search for an internship is do not wait until the last minute to find your internship opportunity, because it's not an easy thing to do. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes effort, and personally, based on my experience, it takes a lot of prayers too. What I did at first to begin my search was that I started using networking. I asked ward members, former youth leaders, and some acquaintances that I had who said that they had colleagues who worked in the healthcare industry as well. Because I was interested in doing like social work, family counseling. So I figured, looking into the medical community would be a good fit for me. So I asked acquaintances, who had contacts in the medical community if they were aware of any internship opportunities. It's a very worthwhile way to try and find opportunities for internships, for education as well. Because, you get pointed in the right direction and you become aware of more people that you can reach out to in the future should the opportunity present itself again. Now, although I did a lot of networking and used referrals to try and find an internship opportunity, unfortunately, I kept striking out. They were saying that I wasn't involved with the right school, or I didn't have the right recommendations, or they simply weren't looking for an intern at the time. So I started getting frustrated. I spent about a good 1.5 to 2 months to try and find an internship opportunity, but nothing was coming up. So it was getting toward the end of the year and I was still struggling to find an opportunity. And one day I had this little thought popped into my head that I should go to the local Starbucks near my apartment and get my wife a treat. Because, it had been a hard day for both of us and she always enjoyed a good hot chocolate from Starbucks. So I walked into Starbucks and I placed my order and I'm just waiting for them to bring the order out. And then I started looking at this bulletin board with local community announcements, and lo and behold, I found a poster saying that there was an opportunity to get involved with a Legion Hospice. And another thought pops into my head that said, contact this company. So I took a picture of the poster, and as soon as I walked out of the coffee shop, I gave them a call. And I got an interview set with them for the following Wednesday. And when I walked out of the office that day, I had the internship opportunity. So it wasn't the traditional way of finding an internship opportunity, that's for sure. But one thing I want to stress to you guys is don't be afraid to get down on your knees and ask for guidance and help, because Heavenly Father will point you in the right direction. He is aware of your circumstances, and He definitely will help you find what you need to be successful in your career. And I can definitely say that without Him, I would never have found a Legion Hospice. Right from the very beginning, I knew that working for a Legion Hospice was going to be a busy but rewarding experience. My supervisor did not waste any time telling me that it was going to require a lot of effort on my part to work with the patients, but I knew I could handle it and I was up to the challenge. My main responsibilities were visiting patients on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. Checking in on them, seeing how their conditions were, reporting if how they're feeling and how they're processing things, making sure that they're being cared for, because quite a few of our patients actually lived in an assisted nursing facility. So I would make sure that their caretakers were looking out for them. I would get reports from the caretakers, being sure that everything was being handled properly, seeing if there was anything that the hospice needed to be aware of that they hadn't known previously. And my supervisor would ask for a written report about each of the visits. So I'm not a very strong writer, so it would take some time to get those reports done. But when you work in the healthcare industry, you learn that details are life. And so I would make sure to include as many details as I could about our visits, so that way it was if my supervisor had been there during the visit. There were also opportunities for orientation, becoming aware of healthcare techniques, the medical needs of the patient, not just the emotional or psychological needs of the patient. And, there were also a lot of one-on-one meetings with my supervisor where we had to coordinate things that were going on and make sure that the patient's needs were being satisfied. An internship is a mutually beneficial relationship, not just for you as a student, but also for the site that you're working for. I did take note that there were several things that I feel like benefited the site because of my involvement with the program. I take pride in being detail-oriented, and I feel that through my reports and my regular visits with my supervisor, I was able to keep her and the other hospice staff members informed about changes in the patients, making them aware of things that were going on. I feel like we were able to build a stronger connection between the hospice facility and the assisted living facility where many of the patients lived. And I feel like that many of our patients were able to become more confident in the hospice services, and that they felt that we were taking a lot of time to be aware and focused on their needs and concerns, and make them and really focus on getting them the treatment that they needed as individuals. I began to take note of a lot of personal benefits with being involved with a Legion Hospice right from the very beginning. There's something special and heartwarming about working with those who are experiencing near death and their loved ones who are having a hard time coping with that change. As I became more involved with the patients, and as I got to know them better, I felt that I was able to become more compassionate and empathetic and understand, their point of view more. There were also times where, they were frustrated with their circumstances, and where they would voice that they were very displeased or that they were very angry with life right now. And so there were a lot of times where contention would arise, and the need to be patient and manage the conflict was required. And I feel like I have grown as an individual because now I feel like I can face conflict with more confidence and be able to manage it appropriately so that a peaceful resolution is obtained. And as you work with those who are experiencing near death, you learn a lot of valuable lessons because they have a lot of life experience. You get to listen to them, hear their stories, and you come to understand what it's like to be a genuine, true listener. Not to mention, I got a lot of real-world experience that I had never had previously. And, and the other benefit is that now I've grown close with some professionals in the healthcare industry, and so there's always those connections and more networking opportunities for later on down the road. As previously mentioned, one of the big benefits of interning is that you get real-world experience to combine with your coursework and studies and knowledge that you would earn from BYU Idaho. One of the biggest benefits for me through going through the internship is that I feel like I have gotten better about conflict management. And patients can become irritable and frustrated with their circumstances. It's part of the job. A lot of times they don't mean it when they insult you, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of have a thick skin. But you need to be able to approach the situation calmly and rationally, because if you get upset while they're upset, then the situation boils over and nobody benefits and everyone walks away feeling frustrated. For me, conflict has been a bit of a challenge my entire life, and it's not something that I've been able to cope with very well. But the hospice program has helped me to learn how to manage that better. And it reminded me of a quote that I had read from a textbook while I was studying at BYU called Successful Marriage and Families, Proclamation Principles and Research Perspectives. And the quote goes, "Challenges are experiences that have the potential to change how we view ourselves, our relationships, and our relationship with God, thus transforming our very nature." And guys, I really feel like that's what happened to me. I was able to experience growth, become stronger, and now I feel like I can stand in the face of contention and not buckle underneath it like I used to. Now, the big question is, at the end of the day, would I recommend Allegiant Hospice as an internship site to other students? I could confidently say yes. Absolutely yes. It's a great opportunity. I highly recommend it. If you're interested in working with Allegiant Hospice, you would want to speak directly to their director, Lisa Hunt. They are located in Mesa, Arizona, off of 1234 South Power Road, Suite 150. You can contact them in a couple of different ways. By phone, 480-397-7577, or go to their website, allegianthospice.org. I've included a link here in this PowerPoint. And if you want to just go through the website, you can go to the Contact Us link on their homepage and send a message to them directly, and they're very good about responding. So I wouldn't be surprised if you got an answer from them later that day. And attached to this final bit of my presentation, I've included the references that I cited, so that way you guys can know where I got my information from. Thank you very much for your time and for listening to this presentation. I hope it's been beneficial, and I certainly hope that you all have a lot of success in your own internships, because I can promise you they'll be rewarding experiences. Thank you.